Hi, it's Trista. I'm back with the channeled reading for a question. This question is from BP. He sent me a question about, are all prayers answered? Wanting to know if that was true. He's from a Christian background and was always told that the prayers are always answered. So this is a response to that question. So they said all prayers are received and answered immediately. With that being said, not all prayer requests are for the highest good of the situation, no matter how heartbreaking that situation may be. So there are soul contracts in place that supersede any prayer requests. So basically, that means that someone's maybe praying for a loved one who's having a medical emergency or something like that. And if it's for the highest good of that individual to go through the situation and for a certain outcome, then if somebody is praying for a different outcome that doesn't match up with their soul contract, then the soul contract, what was agreed upon prior to the person incarnating, then that is what they will go with for the prayer request. So you may not get what you asked for. You may get something different. You maybe get something better. But they'll always refer back to the soul contract, because certain people are here to learn certain things and experience certain things. And if something happens and they don't fulfill that contract, they don't get the opportunity of learning that lesson, and they may need to come back and redo the lesson. So that's why they go with the soul contracts. There are souls there in heaven whose job it is to help receive and forward prayers and monitor the incoming prayers to angels that will act to respond to the requests. So I kind of got a glimpse of it. It kind of reminded me of one of those really busy call centers. Like people are calling in, and you have all these people answering the lines. So it was kind of like that. Lots of incoming requests and messages. So the call center had lots of prayers coming in, lots of questions, wishes, spells, pleading and begging for certain things to come to pass. All that stuff is coming in at the same time. So the prayer requests are sorted, granted, and passed along. Contracts are checked, and then energy, information, and assistance is sent out in response to the prayers. Now, it may not be an immediate response, but there will always be a response. And it's possible the person who sent the prayer may not recognize the response, but there's always a response. Let's see, where am I at? Some of the answers to prayers are not recognized by the person that prayed them, because the answer to the prayer is not the outcome that they wanted or recognize. So sometimes the questions to our prayers are not something we're able to think of. So it may be some answers to prayers can be very creative and not on a person's radar. So what you're asking for, they may not give you or grant what you asked for. They may give you something different, something better, or something that was designated that was supposed to happen in the soul contract. So you don't. This is kind of one of those situations where they say, "Be careful what you ask for." I think that comes up again later. Timing is a big deal also. Timing is also important. Some prayers are not meant for an immediate answer. So an example of that is if, say, there's a bunch of people praying and they're in the middle of a bank robbery and they're praying for assistance and praying for the police. Someone please call the police, any kind of intervention. And so those would be prayers that they would want to address and try to get some help to them as soon as possible and immediately. There are other prayers that may not be as immediate, that need a response as quickly. Or if someone's in an accident, in the process of passing, obviously that's an immediate need that they need to be addressing right away. So the immediate request and the answer to the prayer is exactly what they're praying for their loved ones. So they may not get exactly what they're asking for, but there will always be a response. Others, for some of the other prayers, they may take days, years, sometimes decades, sometimes lifetimes to manifest. Some prayers are also labeled as no response. They are prayers that are requested but not granted because it's not in the highest good of the person, not in the highest good of the universe. So sometimes also the no response prayers would be prayers that people just said and weren't totally being serious, things they asked for that are not appropriate. So not all prayers are approved due to being not being appropriate. So I'm not really going to give any examples on that, I guess, but sometimes people are asking for things that are just not in the best interests of other people and in the best interests of the universe. Many people don't take their prayers seriously or consider the consequences of their prayers. That is where the quote, "Be careful what you ask for," comes in. So again, they're always listening, they're paying attention. So be careful what you ask for. Don't be going off the handle, especially if you're mad or something, and making all kinds of inappropriate requests, prayer requests. Obviously, they're going to take that into consideration. They're going to, they know the situation. So if people are very upset or angry or something, they're going to be aware of that. But some prayers ask they're needing change, long-term change, like world prayers. And it can take a long time for some of those world prayers, the big prayers of the world, to manifest. So, for example, asking for world peace, asking for healing to war-torn areas, asking for multi-generational starvation, poverty, those sort of things. They need the people to change first before the prayer outcome can manifest. And some of those can last for generations. It may take generations for a prayer from start to finish to manifest. When the world is ready for the change, then the prayer can be completed. So it depends on how complicated the request is. And healing can be sent to the people and the location to get the ball rolling to start the process of change and healing. But it may not occur for a very long time, sometimes if ever. There may be a contract there that there needs to be ongoing battles and wars going on in order for people to incarnate here and then participate in that and learn certain lessons that are required for us to learn. And it also depends on the consciousness level of our planet and the universe. If the consciousness of our planet is not where it needs to be for this lesson to manifest and this prayer to manifest, then it may take a while for those things to happen. It doesn't mean that they're not happening. They could be doing what they need to do to change as many people as possible, to raise the consciousness, to make things better. But it may take some time. It helps the person to ask instead of praying for what you think is what you want to happen. Just ask when you're praying, to ask for your highest good or so-and-so's highest good or the highest good of the planet, the company, whatever the situation may be. And rather than praying for what we think is the best option, just pray for somebody's highest good for whatever is in their best interests. And then they also talked about like mass prayers for world events, and they used September 11th as an example because obviously there were tons of prayers, an increase in prayers coming in at the start, during, and after that, and continuing. Even to this day, there's still prayers, people praying for um, survivors, people that were lost. So in that situation, they're going to send in, the prayers will start coming in, and they were already aware that it was going to happen. So they were on standby. They had mass armies and triage teams ready to come down to assist, and those would have included angels, healers, um, and then loved ones who've crossed over, who are going to go and help and assist their loved ones, either in rescuing them or assisting them in passing over, or protecting them, protecting the emergency teams, the police officers, the fire departments, the doctors, um, the dogs that were searching, all of that, to help them for their highest good. So there were various ways that they were coming down to help all the souls needing help, and then for all those people that were praying for them, who were watching it from home and were aware of the situation. For all those prayers, there was just a massive operation going on during that time, and that's just an example that most of us would be pretty familiar with. There's been other world, events where lots of people have died, plagues, shipwrecks, different things, where they had to have like a mass triage team for praying and for helping people in the physical plane. So all the prayers that are sent are received and they're answered, but the answer that we get may not be what we are asking for at that time, and it also may not come in the time that we anticipated coming. It may not come immediately. It may come days, years later. So that's basically what I got for his question. Thank you for submitting the question. I think this information is probably going to be of interest to a lot of people. They also said there's more later, so I don't know if there's people that are going to want to have some follow-up questions, which is okay too, or want me to elaborate on some things. If you have further questions on it, you can put them in the comments, or you can send that to me. If you have my personal contact information, you can send it. And then remember to, so more people can get this, please share it, please subscribe, and please like the video if you enjoyed it, so more people can have access to it. And that's what I have for now. And thank you for BP for sending the question in. All right. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.